Whatever. My story is called Jingle Hell. I had a fever last night, and this is what happened. Ready? Okay. Deck the halls indeed. It looked like a secular Christian rendering of Little John and the East Side Boys' seminal masterpiece, Get Low. The high concrete walls of the first floor garage, tumbled and plumed with crushed crimson velour, designed in a petroleum-grade herpes sort of texture. Mistletoe hung by individual hundreds on fishing line descending from a netted canopy overhead. A red disco ball cast sniper rifle laser points on the dancers, wiggling like earthworms caught in a whirlwind of their sloshing liquor insides. Have yourself a merry little skeet, co-workers. Servers dressed as Marys, Josephs, and wise men dodged and weaved through sycophantic mutual accolades as they offered liverwurst-shaped babies on crackers with mustard halos. The cranberry vodka Red Bull flowed like the infinite blood of Christ as the weasel-faced minions of their pointy cocaine-white overlords wailed in tone-deaf harmony to John Lennon's Imagine, forcing an otherwise profound sentiment into a nihilistic backwash of hedonism. World peace is easy when you live in a parallel reality, a cross between the Wolf on Wall Street and Enron, the Wonder Years, stuck on eternal party mode. Sorry, John Lennon, you have been reduced to a Hallmark card anthem devoid of meaning or hope. The human race doesn't deserve a future. No one notices the global warming burn when they're numb. I've been to this exact party 8 times in the past 6 months. Replace sad, tree-shaped plastic and aluminum for blow-up beach toys or farm motifs. I'm just a tourist. I work here, but in a freaks and geeks sort of way. I belong in the sheer fact that I don't belong. I'm the contrast that ensures the frat house has their quiet pecking order. I walk concentrically along the wall. I learned this over several attempts to avoid conversation with these troglodytes. If you keep moving, no drunkard can tell you're not enjoying the party. It's like reverse T-Rex rules from Jurassic Park. Stay still and they eat you. Move to survive the night. I bumped into something bog-level sweaty. The beef mold picked up my purse he knocked to the ground and noticed a stray tampon from said purse by my feet. He held it up with a grin and made a big show of handing it back to me, made a crass joke about my anatomy and level of accommodation. I kept walking through a wake of chuckles and kind suggestions of applying a good sported nature. Fuck this place. Baby, It's Cold Outside, sung by Who Cares and the mass choir of assholes, made further mockery of the Florida winter heat wave and the tooth decay of holiday cheer. If chestnuts had been roasting on open fires, it would have been in metal trash cans, and Snake Plissken would have GTFO. A girl drooling what little left of her self-respect or sanity wrapped her noodle arm around my neck, clutching my windpipe as she screamed, belched, lyrics about kings in Israel. Her voice was the shame of her siren banshee ancestors as she doubled over, clutching her future unexpected pregnancy and exhausted the twisted confines of her acid reflux all over my shoes. Bits of gummy bear melted miniature T-1000s into the fibers of my socks. She cried. A lot. Unstoppably. She sat down or collapsed, dragging me with her to the cold, oil-stained parking lot floor, and I hit my hip a little less than gently. She cradled me like a bear from her childhood and said things like she didn't mean it, and she wasn't usually like this. This is probably the first step towards Mooney indoctrination reversal. This girl, who on a good day acted like a skinny bitch code enforcement officer, showed the darker roots of her fake blonde, or the flesh-tone outline of her spray tan. At least both these things were visible this close up. She'd most likely be fired tomorrow because she broke the plausible deniability rule of pretending all of this isn't bullshit. You have to keep up appearances or at least exploit the lie that heralds paper-thin inclusive casual diversity as I did. Or you at least had to belong to the department where no one cared or paid attention to you as long as you kept making them money. Someone from the Barbie Snot Faucet's department pried her off of me as she blubbered, "Who was that?" I'm no one. But if I entered a transporter on the Enterprise right now, my DNA would mix tragically with the goop on my shoes, and at least I would morph into the blob and destroy all of these people with my acid, jello, inside-outside body. I sat on the floor for a few minutes and got up unaided and ignored. I continued my circle, trying to avoid the minefield of mistletoe, making eye contact with no one but the gummy bears dried up on my shoes. The horde sang with Mariah Carey and NSYNC. The words failed, stumbling from their numb, swollen cheeks in weird sea lion vowels. They all stopped dancing, so much as formed an odd etch-a-sketch of static, jumbled parts, or there's still puke on my glasses. Mandatory parties are Kool-Aid level assimilation ploys. Praise unto the glory that is us, says a party like this. The DJ, dressed as BDSM Santa, asked the body-snatched ex-persons if they were having fun, and conditionally there was affirmation, a little too exuberant to be genuine, desperate. Desperation for frivolity rang the undertone of Carl Jung caliber anxiety. Freud and Pavlov would thumb wrestle for this data mine. B.F. Skinner and Stanley Milgram would amok time Kirk versus Spock to study this awkward ape ritual. Charlton Heston would lose his fucking mind is what I'm saying. He wouldn't have a problem if these people were the main ingredient in his food supplement, is what I'm saying. This is Home Alone and Home Alone 2 if they were rebooting with Macaulay Culkin as Macaulay Culkin present day, is what I'm saying. If you were standing here watching a grown man air hump the Holy Ghost as I am now, you would want a Krampus the Purge crossover, and you, like me, would willingly die to watch it obliterated from existence. Notions of sci-fi related death were amusing until I had the realization that people actually hurt people for such little reasons as aesthetic differences, not unlike my present silent grumblings. I felt an unlikely pit of remorse form in my stomach, but then I realized it was just my body saying it needed to pee. Then I figured out that the only route out of this party was through the middle of the rapey mistletoe.